COVID-19 has killed more than 2 million people since it was first discovered in Wuhan, China in late 2019. Millions more have been infected, with global medical facilities overwhelmed. But relief for some is on the way. Leading pharmaceutical giants have pioneered a vaccine. But there's a catch. 90% of the world's population living in 67 low-income countries might not get vaccinated this year. We're about to find out why on this episode of Decoded. Rich nations with only 14% of the world's population have brought up more than 53% of the 8 most promising vaccines. All of Moderna's and 96% of the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine have been hoarded by countries in the West. Oxfam says billions of people around the world won't get vaccinated for years to come unless the situation changes dramatically. And the People's Vaccine Alliance, a UN World Health Organization-backed NGO, has gone further in its criticism. What is apparent is that the scramble for COVID-19 vaccines has exposed gross inequities. This can be seen in South Africa, where only 3% of the population will be covered when the vaccine eventually becomes available later this year, according to reports. Given the severity of the new strain there, concerns are rising that the vaccine might be too late to stop the new variant. But how did we get to this stage of a dog-eat-dog world? December 31st, 2019 saw the first reports of a cluster of pneumonia cases in Wuhan, China. This led the World Health Organization to set up the Incident Management Support Team, putting WHO on an emergency footing for a potential outbreak. The Chinese government denied anything was wrong at this stage. But by January 10, the WHO issued a comprehensive set of guidelines on how countries could detect, test, and manage any outbreaks of this novel coronavirus. Just 3 days later, COVID-19 was first reported outside of China, in Thailand. It continued to spread despite efforts to contain the virus. And by March 13, 2020, the World Health Organization characterized COVID-19 as a pandemic. One of the theories suggests COVID-19 was circulating far earlier than December of 2019, and traces of it have been found in sewers and bodies of the deceased going back to the fall of that year. Leaders of many countries have caught the virus. States have imposed lockdowns, stopping people from leaving their homes. The world economy has been devastated, while pharmaceutical companies have scrambled to find a vaccine. Now that one is here, we know that the biggest hoarders are Canada. The country with the biggest per capita hoard of the vaccines reserved enough doses to complete 5 immunizations per citizen. Canada's neighbor to the south, the United States, has hoarded 4 vaccinations per citizen, while the UK has enough to vaccinate each Queen's subject 3 times over. Some 67 low-income countries, on the other hand, have made no purchases of a COVID vaccine at all and are wholly reliant on the so-called COVAX program, a collaboration of WHO, UNICEF, the World Bank, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, among others. Its aim is to unite countries into one bloc so they have more bargaining power to negotiate with drug companies. The COVAX program has secured around 700 million doses so far, enough to immunize just 10% of the people in those 67 countries. For countries like Pakistan, the only way they can get their hands on a vaccine is to trial Chinese handouts among its people. Pakistan has conducted stage 3 trials in order to secure vaccines from China manufacturer CanSino Biologics and the Beijing Institute of Biotechnology. Saudi Arabia and Russia are also part of the Chinese Trials Initiative. Vaccine advocates are calling for something more radical than diplomacy or even COVAX. They want vaccine companies to share the intellectual property so that generic forms of the vaccine can be made. people continue to wait and die of COVID-19. And we haven't even addressed the most important issue. How much will the vaccines cost? Well, a dose can range from $3 to $37, depending on the bargaining power of the states involved. Tell us what you think. Send your comments and suggestions to TRT World's YouTube page. I'm on Twitter at Ali_Mustafa.